I am giving you warning. Warning. And you say it's time. That's why we worship Jesus. I am giving you warning. So put up your worship. Jesus Christ is in the air. You love him tonight, the mighty man of God. Somebody big up Jesus. In this life, me trial were many. Some of the time them see a be a fire in the air now. So una go say we couple, una go sing it like all me sing it. Here in a feet. Yeah, can't be a foreign people there. Me have been Jamaica from a Jersey, so me I sing the Jamaica way. And sometime me foot them get weary. Oh, and they feel like I would stumble. I know them are gonna see so. Me know them are gonna say fall. But sometimes when my problem come in a fall, you know me know. And it feel like I would stumble and drop a grove. Me know myself, but the jail to lands and leave me. I wish some people that just feel the presence of God tonight. Some people just shout out and walk up your mouth and say, thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. But the jail to lands that lead me. Put up your hand and say, lead me, Jesus. It's the hand that lead me steady. You see, I won't leap away while I won't leap past some millions. Oh, yeah. Nothing wrong with that. Put up on hand tonight and say, Jesus, give me grace that I would make it past the road. Can you walk me about and sing? And after all, it's like just we are man. Just we are man. 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 Holy Ghost, I love you, Jesus. Big one. In this life, me try and make many holy. Some of the time them, me forget the weary. And it feel like I was suffer. I'm straight on road. Holy Ghost, I love you. But the dream, so last I leave me. Jesus, it's God that keep me. Put up in my message, give me grace that I will make it. Can I see some Holy Ghost people sing? And after all, this life is over. I'm alive, my year, and then Jesus is God. I fell upon the mountain top
And good night to Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. Yes, Carriacou and Petit Martinique. I'm pretty sure some of you are hearing us tonight. Whether you are in Carriacou, Petit Martinique, or you're on the mainland, you've in the diaspora, we say a special good night to each and every one of you. Also, those of you listening in the other Eastern Caribbean islands, our good friends out there in St. Lucia, Bano, my Groseille squad, my Laborie squad, yeah, my Dennery squad, my friends up in Mount Sepa. Good night to you, St. Lucia. St. Kitts and Nevis, good night. Trinidad and Tobago, they say I always leave them out. The one country they expect me never to leave out. Our Vincentian listeners, and indeed our listeners who usually tune in from the other Grenadine islands that are just as badly affected as Carriacou and Petit Martinique. Yeah. Wherever you are tonight, we say a special good night to you. It is time for Talking Points. My name is Sheldon Scott. I'll be taking you up until the 10 o'clock hour. It's now 9 minutes after the hour of 8 on the Spice Isle of Grenada. At least that's what it's showing in studio, huh? Yes, indeed. I think we'll take one more gospel in between there. Yeah. I think we'll take one more before we go further, yeah? We say a special good night to our listeners via 91.9, 91.5 Real FM. Yeah, they've had a hard week, yeah? A really, really hard last week, yeah? Good night to you, Mr. Andre Donald, you and the entire Real FM crew. To the listeners in St. Patrick, in St. Andrew, who've been unable to join us for the past week, we say a glorious Grenadian good night to each and every one of you, particularly those of you negatively affected in the St. Patrick, St. Mark, St. Andrew area. And we say a good night to those of you joining us via YouTube, those of you joining us via Facebook as we let the numbers build. Yeah, tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. Talking Points is on.
Come here tonight to worship Jesus.
Yeah, we had to talk the things tonight, huh? Yeah.
I wake up just worship Jesus. Because some people never know you're wearing to see today.
I know some folks were asking about Fridays. No, I didn't do a program on Friday. I did not announce, but I visited the sister Isle of Carriacou on Friday. Yes, I made sure I went up, yes. I don't just talk about Carriacou. Carriacou is home as well, yeah? So, you know, I had to go up, yeah? Let me say a special good night to you, Miss Belva Charles. Yes, don't worry, I shall be collecting tomorrow for sure. Yes, Belva is one of the people donating to assist the people of Carriacou and Petit Martinique, always trying her best to help Talking Points. I know quite a few of you have reached out to me and you're willing. So tomorrow we're going to be organizing to collect and so on and put everything together, and we're sending it up from Talking Points, huh? And folks, for a bit tonight, we'll be joined by Honorable Emmilin Pierre, the Public Relations Officer of the New National Party, Member of Parliament for St. Andrew South East, yeah? So you'll get an update on some of the activities of the New National Party, what we have been doing already, what we will soon be doing in relation to the aftermath of Hurricane Beryl, yeah? And also some updated information regarding some of the activities that we have had planned. As you know, it is the 40th anniversary of the New National Party, so we have some activities that have been planned, so you'll be getting some information, some updated information in relation to those activities. Let me say a special good night to the New York support group, the New National Party New York support group. Once again, thank you all so very, very much, yeah? Always standing with your party and with your country, yeah? And always standing with Talking Points. So we have to say a special good night to each and every one of you. Say a good night to you, Cousin Ira, Uncle Ba. Beverly, good night to you. Good night. Emmilin and Millie, good night as well. I had to shout out my Carriacou people tonight, yeah? Yeah, in fact, you know what? Let's play one for the Carriacou people as well as we about to get into the conversation.
Grenada, may God bless you. Grenada, may God bless you. The gem of the Caribbean, struck by Hurricane Ivan. The spices blew in the wind and the people all started to scream. The force of the hurricane has wrought havoc and caused great pain, but we are proud to say that we are on the rise again. Because our people are strong, it didn't take us too long to start to rebuild our land. The spice leaves, the spice leaves, the spice leaves, the spice. Yes, we're building better than before, and to your tourists we offering more. Oh yes, the spice leaves, the spice leaves, the spice leaves. The speed of the recovery have boosted the industry. Tourists who visit the land are amazed at the things they see. With a better infrastructure, we're building for the future. A nation rising with pride, and we know you'll be satisfied. And now the pleasure is ours to invite you to our shores. You will never regret for sure. The spice leaves.
I hope the people of Carriacou know that applies to them, eh? Yeah.
The spice leaves. The spice. Yes, we're building stronger and
Sorry, Shakespeare Mass could be taking place again, yeah.
oh yes, the spice leaves. Yes, we're building better than before, and to your tourists we offering more. Oh yes, the spice leaves. The gem of the Caribbean, struck by Hurricane Ivan. The spices blew in the wind and the people all started to scream. The force of the hurricane has wrought havoc and caused great pain, but we are proud to say that we are on the rise again.
As I said, we will be having a guest joining us for a bit.
It didn't take us.
We have quite a few things because I can't take... Listen, I was in Carriacou myself. I saw things for myself. I heard from people in Carriacou for myself, not second-hand information, not just stuff that I'm seeing on social media. I was there, I saw, I heard. Yeah, all right.
Yes, the building better than before.
This line thing, the other stop, yeah?
Oh, yes, the spice leaves. The spice leaves. The spice leaves. The spice leaves. This is what we.
That's my good friend Lulu out there in Carriacou, yeah.
I remember when I was
Come on, the spirit of Carriacou is still there, man. Come on, come on.
young.
Get up, get up, get up.
That was the music of the day. They used to play a nice melody in G, but that was the sweetest thing for me. And when the song of the banjo hit the air, that was all the people want to hear. Listen to the sound of the banjo. An emulation of Deepwood Moses, played by Carly. Move your feet, move your waist. Sweet, sweet music in the place. You can't stand up like a yo-yo. You got to let your body go. Take a grind, take a wine. Don't waste this precious time. What will happen tomorrow? None of us don't really know. You hear banjo? I remember those glory years, like when music was met with great cheers. No one can deny that the standard was very high. And when you hear Christmas time comes around.
And let me just let you all know of this event. Yeah, the Hurricane Beryl Urgent Relief Drive. That's Kayak Roots and Culture alongside City In 473. All right, yeah, they are having that drop off in 312 East 93rd Street, Brooklyn, New York 11212. So for those of you up there in New York, you can help out. Nice. Right, help those in need and so non-perishable items, clothing, baby supplies, toiletries, first aid supplies, hygienic products, soap, toothpaste, sanitary products, etc. and donations are accepted as well. All right, so they want to fill some barrels with essential items so that they can come down to the people of Carriacou, Petit Martinique, and those in need, yeah? And you can contact them on 347-582-7648, yeah? That's 347-582-7648. So just letting you all know of one of the various activities that are taking place there. So they're doing that collection drive out there, yeah? Let me also send out my condolences to the Duke family of Wester Hall. The passing of the young one, yeah? I ain't calling name tonight, yeah? None of us don't really know. Let's just say it's been an eventful 72 hours for me, yeah? Very eventful. No one can deny that the standard was very high. And when you hear Christmas Day comes around, look out for your name in the sun. Also, I did receive some information earlier today of the postponement of the town hall meeting. Yes, I did receive some information that the town hall meeting has been postponed. Move your feet, move your waist. But the event that is slated to take place the night before, that is still taking place. Huh? So the fundraiser that's slated for the night before, that is still taking place. While the town hall has been postponed, it's been pushed back a bit to a later date. The fundraising activity is still slated to take place. So those of you who have not yet gotten your tickets, it is the opportune time to get your tickets and so on for the exquisite affair. Yeah, the funds, some of the funds used there will be for the people of Carriacou and Petit Martinique. So it's important for those of you who have the ability and the opportunity to go on out. So that's the New National Party New York Support Group. They're having the exquisite affair, an evening of elegance, style, and class. That's taking place on Saturday, the 13th, yeah? From 9 p.m. Music by DJ Jude and Small Clothes. Tickets $100. And all-inclusive affair that's taking place at the Legacy Loft, 9302 Ditmas Avenue, Brooklyn, New York, 11236. For further information, you can contact Kathy Albert at 347-262-6818, Wendy McGuire, 912-602-1476, Aisha Oliver, 917-520-3164, PD Francis at 917-642-7187, and Sharon Caesar at 862-234-0879. So those are the numbers of the individuals you can contact so that you can get your tickets, yeah? Nice, yeah. Yes, indeed, man. Yeah, the spirit of Carriacou ain't gone nowhere, no day. You just have to raise it, yeah? Needless me to say, that was the music of the day. They used to play a nice melody in G, but that was the sweetest thing for me. And when the song of the banjo hit the air, that was all the people want to hear. Listen to this. Let me see if I can bring my guest on a little early, yeah. Let me see if I can bring my guest on a little earlier than planned. Yeah, let me try to call them now. Yeah, you're trying it a little different tonight. Let me see if I can get my guest on. Yeah, and all right. Yeah, let's try it that way and see if it works. Yeah. None of us don't really know. Yes, let me see if I've got my guest on. Hello, good night. Hello.
Good night to you.
Good night, Honorable Emmilin Pierre. How are you doing?
I am good, thank you. Good night to all of your listeners, all of your viewers tonight.
Yes, indeed. And they're out in their number. I can tell you they're out in their numbers tonight on Talking Points. And we just wanted to get an update as to some of the activities that the party is having. And we know there were several activities slated for the next couple weeks. There's a bingo that's slated for Sunday. There were other activities that have been slated. And folks have been asking questions. So we wanted to clarify what is taking place with these activities?
Okay, so let me just say that quite obviously, because of the hurricane, we would have had to reschedule some of the activities to make changes, etc., etc. So that activity referred to in Grenville, that activity has been postponed. The town hall meeting in New York has also been postponed. And more or less, we will be keeping the public updated as to the 40th anniversary activities. The chairman of the committee and other members of the committee will be keeping the public up to date. But I can safely say, as it relates to those two activities, they have been postponed. So as of now, all other activities are still on schedule, except that we would inform otherwise.
Okay, so the bingo that is slated for Sunday, that bingo is still going to be taking place because folks have been asking, and they see it as an opportunity as well, where they can make their donations outside of coming and buy the ticket. They could walk with a local can, they could walk with a little donation or something. So we're not sure if that is still taking place or not. Hello? Well, yeah, we may have lost Honorable Emmilin Pierre, but we'll be able to tell you a little bit. We'll be able to tell you a little bit more about the bingo if it is still on. Most likely by tomorrow night. Yeah, we'll be able to give you a little bit more on that. Hello. Let's see if we get back. Honorable Emmilin Pierre. Hello.
Are you hearing me?
Oh yes, hearing you now. Yes.
Yes. So I was saying to you that activity has been postponed. As far as I'm aware, that activity has been postponed until a later date. And in addition to that, the town hall meeting that was scheduled for New York has also been postponed.
So the town hall has been postponed. The both activities actually for Sunday, therefore have been postponed. Yes, so the town hall has been postponed and the bingo has been postponed.
Right. Important to note, though, that the fundraiser in New York, that activity has not been postponed. Obviously, based on prior arrangements, it was not possible to postpone that particular activity. So that activity continues this weekend.
Yes, indeed. I've also seen via social media, I've seen several things going out about lunches being provided, meals being provided in Carriacou on a daily basis by the New National Party. I've also seen some other initiatives. Give us some insight into some of the initiatives that are taking place right now as a response by the New National Party to Hurricane Beryl.
So just to say this, the New National Party government in 2004, we had I almost said the opportunity, a very unfortunate experience of leading at a time when Grenada was totally devastated. Of course, we stood up to that challenge, and we did what we had to do. And so the experience coming out of Hurricane Ivan, I believe we are well positioned with the successes that we have not just placed in our record, but that many locally, regionally, and internationally has recognized Grenada for. And our leadership at the time, we do believe that we can at this time offer some support, some advice, recommendations, as you would want to refer to it, because we believe, looking back, there were so many lessons learned that we can use now to advance ourselves in terms of the reconstruction that we need to proceed to engage in at this time. And so we also believe very strongly that this requires all hands on deck. We do not believe that this is a time for political parties and pulling and tugging. And, we have seen and heard a couple of things that are of major concern, but we want to encourage persons This is a time for rebuilding our country, and the New National Party stands ready and has been contributing in whatever ways possible to ensure that this is a success, right? And so for us as a party, we have been looking at what we can do, what is possible, considering that we are in opposition, and we are going to partner with as many of our supporters and friends as possible to ensure that we make a contribution in one way or the other. So we have started to roll out a number of activities. And the first one I want to refer to is the Meals on Wheels initiative. And that has been receiving extremely positive support on the ground in Carriacou. We have been focusing on Carriacou because we have heard from many in Petit Martinique that there is pretty much a good coverage of supply of food on that island. So we have sort of concentrated on Carriacou as it relates to the delivery of food. If there is a need in Petit Martinique, we stand ready to provide support there as well. The second initiative that I want to make mention of tonight is that of the Portable Toilet Initiative. Right, from the assessment on the ground, from the feedback on the ground, because many persons would have lost their toilet facilities during the hurricane. There is a concern as it relates to an outbreak health-wise. And so every precaution, everything must be done to ensure that this does not happen. And so we felt that this was a major area that we could contribute. And so we are in the process of getting those toilet facilities up to Carriacou. And we believe, we said by the end of this week, we should have them at different locations in Carriacou. Of course, logistics, we are starting in Carriacou, and once logistics permit us to do so, we intend to move to Petit Martinique. And I want to specify this because sometimes persons might not understand why Carriacou and not Petit Martinique. It's definitely in this particular case not deliberate at all. Reason being that there is a sewer truck that has to support this initiative, and the owner of the truck is indicating that this might be a challenge to get over to Petit Martinique. Now, we are still exploring, and I want to specify that because I have been receiving calls asking, will this be extended to Carriacou, to Petit Martinique? The issue is not the toilet facilities, is the maintenance of the facility. And once we can find a way to do it, we are definitely ready to make that possible. So I felt it was important to explain that thoroughly.
Yes, indeed. Because I did see my friend in Petit Martinique asking, well, how come we get left out? So I'm glad that an explanation has been provided as to why Petit Martinique at this time is not yet included.
Right. As a matter of fact, 2 trucks would have to come up from Grenada to make this initiative possible. Of course, the truck that would have to transport and facilitate the setup, etc. And then you have the sewer truck that would have to be responsible for the pumping and cleaning and maintenance, etc. So we're exploring all of the possibilities, and whatever we do is what we are able to do at this time, and we give the commitment that we are going to do the best that we can. As a party in opposition with limitations, we are still going to be doing the best that we can do. In addition to that, we already have individuals who are on the ground and not just Carriacou, but right here on mainland in Grenada. For example, we know that St. Patrick's was hard hit, and I'm sure some people would have seen members of our youth arm, for example, out cleaning in St. Patrick. They are moving to Carriacou this weekend, and other teams of persons that we would have provided support to facilitate the cleanup process. So we refer to that as the cleanup initiative. We've been providing support and facilitating groups of persons to assist in cleaning up, not just in Carriacou and Petit Martinique, but on the mainland as well. We intend to roll out during this week as well a housing brigade program, and we are starting with 1 team, and we expect that persons will volunteer to expand this initiative so that one community at a time we can contribute as it relates to the rebuilding process. We are extremely concerned about this. We've heard of persons who are still in facilities, whether it's shelters or whether it's the home of different persons, because of course their roofs would have left them, and so these persons are unable to return home. And so we felt that whatever small we can do, whatever initiative we can undertake to provide some kind of support in that area, we are doing that as well. And so any person who would like to volunteer to be part of that brigade, we encourage you, get in touch with one of our representatives in the various constituencies, indicate your interest, and we are going to find ways to add you on to that team, or hopefully, as I said, we will be able to expand that team very soon. Another initiative that we are in the process of arranging is a health and wellness support team. And just to indicate that on Wednesday, our political leader and the team would be traveling to Carriacou. And that visit, part of the purpose of that visit is to assess how we can assist even more in terms of our contribution as an opposition team, right? And I keep stressing that because we are not the government. We do not have the resources that the government have access to. And so we are doing what we are able to do in our limited ability now, because, as I said, we are in opposition, we are not in government. So, for example, I've had persons ask, how can we receive housing material, for example? These are things that we are not in a position to do. And we would be encouraging the government to activate those programs as urgently as possible, right? In addition to that, as I said when I started, because of the experience that we have, because of the knowledge that we have gained through the Ivan experience, we believe that we are well positioned to offer advice to the government, to make recommendations to the government. It is the government's place to decide whether they take any of those recommendations, but we think it would be selfish to not offer recommendations and suggestions, advice to the government of initiatives that we think that they are positioned to undertake. So, for example, today we would have released what is called suggestions as it relates to housing. Many people are in very desperate positions. Many people are still waiting, etc. And we believe there are some quick ways, low-hanging fruits. We are not expecting that every person would have their homes repaired in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month. We are not expecting that, but we are saying that there are some immediate things that might be possible that the government can immediately explore. For example, we are advocating that a program can be launched encouraging Grenadians or persons who did not have houses that were affected during the passage of the hurricane to accommodate person, the homestay initiative. We are suggesting that this be a temporary shelter, a temporary means through which persons can receive shelter. Again, we're saying that there are some persons who we have come across reports that we've had, persons are still in facilities where they are waiting, etc. And we believe that persons can be encouraged to take someone to stay with them for a short period with some support from the government. And I'm quite sure that there are many families that will be willing to support an initiative like that. So we are encouraging the government to launch this out and to encourage, we would encourage persons to join this initiative. The second thing on the housing that I want to mention is that of utilizing the Chinese low-income housing units, right? There are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of them. We are still baffled. We don't understand it. Why it is that these facilities are not being made available to persons who are waiting, for persons who lost their entire homes. And we are strongly suggesting to the government that they can prioritize the elderly, single mothers, persons with physical disabilities, special needs person, that these persons should be allowed to occupy those units. We do not believe that this is a time, we never actually believed that there was any time that these houses or those units should be sold, right, by persons accessing loans through the banks and so on. We've always spoken against this, but we believe right now it's an opportune time, right, to support these persons who are desperately in need of housing. And the final initiative on the housing that we strongly recommend and suggest to the government is that of teaming up with the private sector, right? There are many persons in their private capacity who do have accommodation, that they may be willing to provide some kind of accommodation or housing for persons who are severely affected. I don't want to go into too much details on that, but let us approach the private sector. We know who the people are that may have certain facilities that they might be willing to offer or to be a part of a program like this. Government can go even further to maybe provide incentives, right? To businesses that may agree to be part of these initiatives. There are so many different ways that those can be facilitated. Outside of housing, we believe there are a number of other areas that government can immediately, as I said, low-hanging fruits that could be picked immediately. For example, partnering with financial institutions, whether it's insurance companies, what have you, and we can look at 6 months moratorium on mortgages, for example. So a person who just lost their entire house, quite obviously, we could be soft on them, right? Give them a break, because they are not in a position at this time to be able to meet the commitments that they met before burial. And so we are encouraging the government to not just leave it up to a financial institution to make a decision like that, but to encourage all financial institutions in that regard, the banks, the credit unions, insurance companies, etc., to partner with the government on this initiative, right? Then you have the CRIF, which is the Caribbean Catastrophic Risk Insurance. I'm not sure what is the current status of this initiative, but this is a special insurance in the region, available in the region to governments, and it really provides safeguard, it provides a cushion, it provides that protection financially when it comes to hurricanes and earthquakes, natural disasters. And we are saying if it's not activated, then there's an urgent need to do so, especially in the season that we are in. Only a couple of days ago, I was speaking to a government minister in another country, and they said they were moving towards this because they realized that this season is very serious. That's how the individual described it. So if it's not activated, we are saying do so urgently, right? If it's activated, well, let's move quickly to make claims to see how we can benefit from this facility that is available for Caribbean governments. Another area, stimulus packages. We are saying that farmers have been severely affected. And this is another low-hanging fruit. There's a system already in place. We gave out stimulus packages before, and we supported farmers and fishermen and so on before. So the system is already there. It shouldn't take long to activate, and we're saying that's another low-hanging fruit that could be picked in this particular situation. Consumer protection. I'm sure you've heard many complaints already, right? The prices of certain items the day before burial and the day after burial. Again, this is another quick move that the government can make in terms of protection of the consumer, in terms of persons trying to profiteer out of this disaster. We are saying that management of that, mitigating against that, is crucial at this time. And so the price control units, whatever units within the government, can activate additional support to protect consumers at this time. I'm also going to mention, and I'm sure you're thinking, wow, this is a lot, but as I said, we believe these are all low-hanging fruits. And again, many of them, because they were in place before, we believe it makes it even easier for any government at this time to roll those out. Another area is concessions. And if you look at St. Vincent right there, they have already rolled out a concession plan, right? A concession program, particularly for organizations, recognized organizations, 100% concession when these organizations are importing relief items or any kind of item that would support the rebuilding process. So whether you talk about churches, you talk about NADMA, you talk about the Lions Club, any organization, political organizations, any organization that is partnering and really making a contribution in the rebuilding process, we believe that a special concession should be given on items, relief items that are being imported. The reverting of to the 40% contingency fund, we are begging, we are pleading, right? We are in July, and we would have already had a major hurricane. And you see what this looks like in July. God forbid, we cannot face another of this for this hurricane season. We cannot. But we are saying wisdom would say contingency fund is important. And there's a reason why we said 40%. So reducing that, as the government did, to at least 10%, we believe that was not a wise move. And we believe it's important that the government should revert back to that 40% contingency fund, which would be a buffer, a protection, something that we can actually turn to in crisis situation. Today might be a hurricane, tomorrow might be something else. Old people always had a way of saying to us, put away something good for rainy days, because you just don't know when it's going to rain. So we never supported that reduction, and we are calling on the government, advising, suggesting that the government revert to the 40% contingency fund. Recently, the government would have signed on to a loan, $100 million, Saudi Arabian government loan. And at the time, we were told that it was for some development in St. George's and other places. And we believe it's a really good time to repurpose the use of this loan to facilitate the reconstruction and rebuilding process, right? $100 million is quite a lot. And repurposing, there's always an opportunity there. I remember during the COVID period, the resources that we would have used in Ministry of Education to a large extent was because of repurposing of a loan under the Caribbean Development Bank. So this is something you can negotiate. You can say, well, okay, we know we would have gotten this amount of monies. At that time, it was for training and other purposes. And in this case, we can easily say, because of this situation, we would want to use X percentage of this loan that has already been guaranteed to the rebuilding process. And we believe if the government would do that, then it can swiftly move to ensure that persons are at least with their roofs back, and the communities are moving as we expect that the rebuilding process would move forward, right? And then the final thing I would want to suggest here, as on behalf of the party, so we are proposing as an organization that this steps should be taken. They are low-hanging, simple things that we believe can be done. And the final one I think I would add here is that of property tax waiver. Right? So persons who have had their homes destroyed, we think it would be a good initiative if the government would waive property tax at this time to give them a little breathing space so that they can build back, they can concentrate on building back. And so we want to encourage the government. We believe this is a time where all hands are needed on deck. And part of the hands that we have is the experience of Hurricane Ivan. And so we offer these advice, these recommendations. We hope that the government would see them in good faith and that they would move swiftly to ensure that the burden that people are now facing, the circumstances that they are currently living under, that this can quickly change, because we are able to build upon some of these achievements that we've made in the past, some of these roads that we have passed in the past, and that we can move forward.
Indeed.
So, Sheldon.
And Honorable Pierre, I had to just remain silent during that part because there was so much information coming out there.
Yes, so we are prepared to do our part, whatever we can do. We've started to do that. We would continue to do that. We are not so much into the picture taking and posing and so on. So you might not see a lot of what we're doing. You'll see some of it. You might not see everything that we are doing. But we really want to continue to do the best that we can for our people.
Yes, indeed. And these are, I'm seeing the comments here, and they're quite positive towards these initiatives that are being taken and the suggestions that are being made by the new National Party towards the rebuilding process for Carriacou and Petit Martinique. You've mentioned for activities earlier. You mentioned the two on Sunday. The activity on Saturday night, that activity is still on.
Right. So that is a fundraising activity that was initially for the 40th anniversary of the party. Our arm in New York had actually planned that activity to raise funds for the party. We have reached out to them and we indicated that, amidst all of what is happening, we are prepared to send representation to this activity, but we would like to have a percentage of the funds raised contributed towards the rebuilding of Carriacou and Petit Martinique. Whatever it is, we believe it would go a long way. And so I would be representing the political leader at this activity. And so we are expecting that our persons here would come out and would support this initiative. And we will be given some additional information because we would like for persons attending the activity to walk with an additional contribution towards the rebuilding process. And so we would provide information within the next day or two as to what exactly we would be asking persons to support with, to come with something extra that they can contribute. So we would indicate specifically what that additional something is that we will be asking them to walk with.
Yes, indeed. And folks, we are speaking here with the Public Relations Officer of the New National Party, Member of Parliament for St. Andrew South East. And nobody in between, I no hurry. I could see that. The Honorable Emmilin Pierre. My goodness. Honorable Pierre, I seem to remember as well, though, that there was a plan within the Ministry of Education in situations like this, where there's a disaster and it affects some of the schools and so on. Am I remembering correctly?
Mm-hmm. Right. So what we would have had in Ministry of Education is a plan that would facilitate continuation of education and facilitating education, teaching and learning in a disaster. Right? Other countries in the region have been able to achieve that as well. And so it is something that we have been extremely big on and leading in a lot of respects on. I would expect that it would take some time for our school facilities to be back up. As a matter of fact, right now, some of those schools are being used as shelters. But I would expect that, as we did during the COVID period, two things. I would expect that the government would move swiftly to implement a virtual psychosocial program, right? Offering psychosocial support, not just physically, but also virtually. People able to access online counseling, online support, use of the media, etc., as it relates to psychosocial support. It is very encouraging that the telecommunication system has been improving, and so that would only augur well for initiatives like these. In addition to that, the issue of e-learning, online learning, and there has been a lot of work done in terms of the infrastructure for that. And we believe that, the bouncing back and getting that going should not be impossible for the government to move on. And we believe with the telecommunication companies, with the progress they've made so far, we believe that that should be something that would become a top priority as it relates to the agenda for education, because we do not want this situation to have too much of a significant negative impact on our students. So even if our buildings are not improved within a short space of time or not available, that should not prevent teaching and learning to take place. The very good thing in this situation is that we are speaking about a much smaller population than we would have had to work with during the COVID period. So we are not speaking the whole of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique, which makes it even easier to roll out a program to respond to this situation.
Indeed. Honorable Emmilin Pierre, I know we're coming up on the half hour point. I'd like to give you the opportunity. Any other issue you'd like to raise at this point in time, I'd like to open the floor to you to do so.
No, well, at this time, I would just say that, our heart really goes out to all of the people who have been affected by the passage of this hurricane. As a party, we empathize with our people. We have been able to see how so many persons have been affected. And let me say this, there are quite a number of persons on mainland Grenada who have been severely affected as well. And we ought not to forget that. As a matter of fact, when we as we continue to roll out and expand on the brigade program, our focus to start with would be that of the St. Patrick area, right? Because we believe the cleaning up process in Carriacou is a little more detailed than it is for the Grenada case. And so the rebuilding, getting the actual structures up and going, we would start our efforts there and expand into Carriacou and Petit Martinique, right? So I'm saying this to say that we are understanding the pain that many persons throughout our islands feel, not just in Carriacou and Petit Martinique, but we do have people in St. Mark, for example, in St. Andrew, in St. Patrick, who would have lost their entire roof. The numbers, quantity, are, way smaller than that of Carriacou and Petit Martinique, cannot be compared at all. But in terms of individuals affected, there are individuals affected just as much as individuals on Carriacou and Petit Martinique. And so we do not want to forget those persons as well. So, some of the initiatives that we are undertaking, I have not even mentioned them, but there are a few cases where we have been able to provide direct support to individuals where, it was possible. And so we'll continue to do that. And I just want to let people know that, all hope is not lost. There's always a brighter side of the picture. We have life, and when there is life, of course, there is hope. We also express our condolences to the families of those who died during this very tragic, unfortunate situation. We know that we had a few persons who lost their lives, unfortunately, whether directly or indirectly, and our heart goes out to the families. So this is not an easy time, and we also appealing for the psychosocial support. Some work has started in that area. I know of an NGO, a non-governmental organization, that has been in Petit Martinique, and we have been supporting organizations wherever we can with all of those initiatives, and we want to encourage that more people would come forward and would contribute in whatever ways. It is a good point also, Sheldon, to pause and recognize all of the volunteers. This situation reminds us of who we are as a people. This situation amplifies the Grenadian. Who is the Grenadian, right? And when you see the outpouring of love and support, so I know of persons personally who have left and gone to Carriacou for days, left their families and gone to Carriacou, sleeping under conditions that are, unimaginable, right? And these people are doing it in cases people they never met before. But that is the Grenadian spirit. That is the love that our people share. And it is something we have to preserve. We have to ensure that we never lose this. So in times like these, it is also a good opportunity for us to remind ourselves of who we really are. And I really want to applaud all of our volunteers, all of those who have given up hours, hundreds of hours in response. our frontline workers. We cannot forget the contribution made by persons, for example, and I'm very fearful of beginning to name persons, but the electricity sector, for example, sometimes in crisis we appreciate people far more than we would in normal times, because we see how important it is to have these workers out morning, noon, and night, and the conditions that they function under. I really want to, on behalf of our party, extend a special thank you to all of our workers, right, in the telecommunication sector, for example, our nurses and our doctors and all of those who are providing support in the healthcare area, those who are, whatever they're involved in, cleaning and providing support, persons who are mobilizing support as well. I look at some people who have gone way out of the way to gather resources and to head to Carriacou, head to Martinique to ensure that persons have the services, right? The church community and the tremendous work that is happening there, Samaritan Purse and external organizations. Our party wants to register our appreciation, our deepest appreciation for all that has been done so far. And we anticipate that that spirit is going to continue until we build back better, because we do believe that there is hope and that we are going to build back better.
Indeed. Honorable Emmilin Pierre, we'd like to thank you so much for taking this time. We know you've been extremely busy, and we know you've been extremely busy in the past week. Usually you're busy, but extra busy in the last week again. And so we'd like to thank you for taking the time to touch base with us here on Talking Points and give a clear insight as to where the party is doing, what the party is doing at this time, and where the party's mind is at as to how the approach to the issue at hand should be. We'd like to thank you so very much for that.
One thing I want to end with, though, Sheldon, is I really want to recognize Senator Cox and his team tonight in Carriacou. You know, in a crisis, it's not easy to deal with your situation and to respond to others at the same time. And these initiatives that I mentioned, that yes, we are coordinating at a national level, their role on the ground is significant. And I want to single out and make mention here of Senator Cox and Sister Wendy Edmond, 2-point persons in Carriacou who are really going beyond to support the national program as it relates to response. And that is outside of all the initiatives that they are personally and as part of their organization in Carriacou are already doing, right? So I really want to say that all that we're doing as a national organization, we still do depend on the support on the ground. And I want to single out and recognize Senator Cox and Sister Wendy Edmond for the kind of support that they have provided thus far in ensuring that these initiatives are rolled out smoothly, and we continue to rely on the extended group within our support within Carriacou as we continue to roll out these projects, not just our supporters, but now is not a time that we single out political organizations. The response we've had from persons who are not supporters of our party, they recognize that this is for the good of people. And it's an initiative, yes, by a political organization, but it's for the greater good. And so we've had persons coming forward to support, and we invite others to do the same.
All right. Thank you so very much for joining us, Honorable Pierre, and we will be in touch soon again.
Okay. Thank you, Sheldon, and good night to all of your listeners.
And good night to your entire family as well. TJ.
Thank you so much.
Have a good one. Yes, folks, we are speaking there with the Honorable Emmilin Pierre, Member of Parliament for St. Andrew South East. So some important takeaways. The bingo that was scheduled for the weekend, that is postponed, not cancelled, it's postponed, so it's pushed back. Also the town hall meeting for the New York area, that has been pushed back as well. But the elegant affair that is scheduled for Saturday night, sorry, that is still on. So you can contact the individuals mentioned earlier for your tickets. Honorable Emmilin Pierre will be there. And of course, it's an opportunity to raise funds as well to assist the work that the party is doing and will be doing in Carriacou and Petit Martinique. Folks, we are going to, at this point in time, it's 4 minutes after the hour of 9. Well, I see one saying 3, one say, well, nah, the majority saying 4. Right, 4 minutes after the hour of 9 o'clock. We are going to open the phone lines. Yeah, we're going to take your calls. And I see somebody was trying to call me here too. Let me call them back and see if I get them. Yeah, I'm going to, start a voice call. Call that person. Yeah, we want to give you all the opportunity to speak at this point in time as well. There are 1 or 2 things that I will be playing in a while. Yeah, I will be playing because I know a lot of people are a bit confused. I think I got my good friend in Carriacou. Hello, good night.
Good night.
Lulu.
Mr. Scott.
Yes, ma'am. You're live on air. Right. You know.
Oh, Jesus, Lord.
Yes. How are you? Move away from the noise a little bit for us. Move away from the noise a little bit for us.
That's what I'm doing, and I'm getting out. Man, this is the most horrific experience that I have ever had.
Oh, dear.
Trust me.
I
have never seen the sea change direction. Shh, I don't phone.
Or is she on a program?
Mr. Scott, oh my word. Oh my God. Trust me, I would never want to relive this. I'm wishing that on my worst enemy. I have never seen in my entire life, I have never seen the seawater change direction.
So the wind changed the direction of the sea?
Exactly. There is a little island, you know where Sandy Island is, and
yes.
my boy. Well, I shouldn't ask you that. You is a kayak, and where I sheltered, it was me, my cousins, and her 4 children, and we had a 4-year-old with us. Oh my word! We had to literally turn a table on the side to stop the wind from mashing the door and to destroy the house where we were. And we held on to that table and tried to stop that wind from coming in, mashing that door and getting to mash up the house. From the time it started probably around 8:35, 8:38 until about after 11:12 when the first part of it, before the eye. When the eye came, that is when we ran outside, grab a few pieces of board that was in the yard from wherever, and try to batten down the front door, get out through the back door and run downstairs. There were people downstairs. When we get downstairs, there was about 20 of us in the same small space, a one bedroom apartment. There were 2 houses across from us, mash. One down below, the roof come off, people running from down the road to come up. A man run from up Monjalu come down. Lord, I have never, ever seen this in my entire life. But what we have to say is thank God for life. And let me tell you, if this had passed in the night, oh my God, God forbid there would have never be a Carriacou.
So let me ask you, what is your present situation, housing-wise and so on? What is your present situation? Do you have a house? I must admit that, no. Yes and no. Mm-hmm. My roof went and all the inside is like, everything inside smash. But I normally volunteer with NADMA. I've been a volunteer with NADMA for, let's say, the past 20 years. And I was really kind of safe, smart in the terms of I packed a lot of my stuff in 2 barrels and I closed it,
seal it with the seal. And most of my clothes I placed in garbage bags. But apparently the wind suck out some of them and go with it. But I still have.
Always she on a program, leave her alone.
I still had I got some, but because the all the partition would have, all the inside would have caved in, some of the bags got busted, some stuff got wet and thing. But thank God for life. The mission statement is thank God for life.
Okay. You've worked with NADMA before? So we're asking.
We had a few deaths.
Mm-hmm. How much do you know
which is real? I know of 3. Confirmed 3. 1 in my village, 1 in Belmont, and 1 in Dover. Those are 3 that I can confirm.
Now, what is the present status now? You've worked with NADMA before. What is the present status of the people of Carriacou and Petit Martinique? We're hearing all sorts of stories. You're hearing stories. Even tonight, before getting here, I was looking at GBN News. There were people that were saying that they've not received any assistance. In fact, NADMA has even checked them. No one, in fact, has checked them where they are, the village where they are. What is the situation from where you are?
I will tell you the truth, and within the first 3 to 4 days, our situation was kind of dire in terms of water. But we did get water because I saw a truck coming in, and I went down the road and I stood in the road and I said to the truck driver, we need water. We have like probably 9-10 persons where I am, and we need water, and we did get water. In terms of food, we did get food, but we got food from more private individuals that would have teamed up and decided. One such person is Mr. Ashby. He used to live here, but he now lives in Grenada. They did a food drive, and it was very, very appropriate at the time. And we did get some stuff from NADMA, and that is because some of us would have made the clarion call that there are people in the side roads. For example, they were more focused on the main. To me, at first they were more focused on the main, and we would have made a clarion call. Because I would have gone down to the port. I went to the port to collect something on Friday, and I did speak about it to someone. And then my neighbor would have said something to someone else, and I don't know. But a vehicle came on Saturday, and it did go up the by road, and then another vehicle came and go down on the other end. So but there are people who are still complaining that they have not been met, and that could be true. That could be true, because I'll tell you the truth. In my opinion, 95% of all the utility poles here are down, lines are down, and 98% of the housing in Carriacou are down. If your house didn't match, the roof is off, or part of it is gone.
Well, at least windows are damaged and that sort of thing. Even if you have your roof, windows, doors, those sort of things are damaged.
Yeah, a lot of people. There are very few roofs, honestly. And if you see a roof, sometimes you see a roof and there is no galvanized. There is no covering. It's like the most of the galvanized peel off the roof like when you're decking a backyard.
Yes, indeed.
It is very sad.
In your view,
it is,
because you're on the ground. You're in Carriacou right now. You're not speaking to us from Grenada. You're speaking to us from Carriacou right now. What do you
Yes,
see?
I am located in Leicester, in Carriacou, to be exact.
Okay. What do you see as the most urgent need at the moment, right now? What do you see as the most urgent need right now for the people of Leicester and the people of Carriacou in general?
We need We need help in terms of cleaning up the debris and helping people to at least get their roofs back on, those of us who doesn't have a roof, and helping people to build back and build back better.
All right. Okay, my dear, I don't want to take up much more of your time and run down your phone because I know you had to go a distance to go and charge it.
Luckily, we have two neighbors with generators, so we get charged up. Thank God.
Well, you didn't think?
And, yeah, man, but you know, Carriacou people, and you know how we do it because if it's one house and 20 of us have to stockpile in the same house, and we have to take turns to sleep, we will do that. Yeah. You know, we look out for one another, and in times of crisis, we always pull together. There are sometimes that we have to disagree to agree, but in times of crisis and in times like this, we do come together. And you know, we have a really close-knit community spirit in my village, for example, that I know of. And come what may, because when the day after the on the next day after the aftermath, me and two other guys, we started clearing the road. We didn't wait for the authorities to start coming. We started on our own. We started seeing how much stuff we could get out the road, at least to make it possible for the help to come in. Mm-hmm. But I tell you, a lot of people are traumatized. A lot of people are very traumatized, especially young children. Even animals are traumatized. Even animals, you could see, and man, to tell you is just what I would tell you. But I think you need to experience it yourself. You need to come and see for yourself.
Well, I was there on Friday. Unfortunately, I could not have met up with you, but you never know when I would fall in again.
Yeah.
All right, my
dear.
You have a good one.
From my own personal point of view, we want to say thank you, a hearty thank you to all the people who are donating and continue to donate. There are some private entities, business people in Grenada and throughout the other places, and even to our families out and abroad, far and wide. They are really coming together and pulling their weight, and you know, we have loads of supplies coming in. Let's hope that when the supply gets here, they do the right thing with it, and it is given to the right set of people, because some people are still unreachable based on their location. And we hope that sooner or later we would start, getting back on our feet. It might take us 20 years. It might take on it. It might take us 15, 20 years to get to a point of comfort again. But at the same time, we are a resilient people, and maybe a lot of us are homeless. A lot of people are homeless. But we are still not hopeless, and we are not daunted. And we give thanks to the Almighty God that it passed during the day and not during the night. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So have a good night and keep us in prayer.
Yes, my dear, and we will keep in touch. You know how to find me.
All right. Take care.
Great.
All right.
Folks, that's my good friend Louise out there in Carriacou. Presently speaking to us. She was speaking to us from out there in Leicester. All right, yes. So our Carriacou people, anybody else in Carriacou feels like calling, give us a call, or Petit Martinique, or even St. Patrick, give us a call. Let us know what took place in your area. Now, there's an issue I want to raise, because I think it's disgusting. I do not believe that people need to do that sort of thing. Now, during the hurricane, folks they ran up to the housing scheme in Dumfries. Several people went up there to save themselves. Yeah, here it is. You have the destruction taking place, and so people went up to Dumfries to save themselves. The orders came from the boss in Carriacou to have those people removed. So police officers were sent to remove them. Now you're hearing that the minister is claiming that people are being allowed to live in the houses in Carriacou. That is not true. It is a lie. Let me just repeat, that is not true. it is a lie. Yeah? The same as when people during the hurricane, they went to the housing scheme in Bujeju that the Chinese gave to the Grenadian people. They didn't give it to any political party. They gave it to the Grenadian people. They went there for safety. Police officers were sent to remove those individuals from the housing project. They didn't say, well, let them stay there during the hurricane and then we'll remove them. No. With rain falling, they put the people out from Bujeju. And now you have them making the statement. Let me see if I can play the minister's statement
question
here.
right now, the question of the low-income houses. Could you give us an update on that, please?
Well, the low-income houses are available. We are going through the process of purchase before living in, and as soon as persons who apply are able to secure the loans in the bank or the credit union, they will get the conveyances done and they will get a key, money hand over to the housing authority, and these persons will get a key. So the houses are available, and we are waiting on persons who apply to come forward with the cash so that they can occupy the houses.
Now, this is the thing. You're waiting for people to come with the cash to occupy the houses. Now, remember, this is how much months we've been speaking about this issue. This is how much months since we embarrassed the Prime Minister of this country. Yes, we at Talking Points embarrass him because we pull every piece of audio of him calling NNP wicked for not sharing out the houses. Then if NNP was wicked for not sharing out the houses, he has to be the chief person who manning the stove down in hell for the devil to not give out the houses, or at least temporarily allow people to occupy the houses during or after a hurricane. You have literally hundreds of people, if not thousands, who are now homeless in Carriacou, need places to stay, and you still have the housing scheme locked up there. When they went there for safety, you all put them out. You all put them out. So now we have a situation where after all this time, we have the houses are still unoccupied. That should tell you something. That the way that you all are going about it is wrong, but probably you all want to go about it the wrong way. Because if the story that was given to the people when you're putting them out is that, hey, these houses have already been paid for. Now we hear the minister saying that they're waiting for people to complete the process. Now, especially in Carriacou, let's just use common sense or basic sense here. If you are living in Carriacou, you have just been through what our good friend Louise just described there. You have lost your home, and you are one of the people that paid for the house in the housing scheme. A caring individual or a caring government would say to those people, here is what. We are going to fast track. You can move in now. Yeah, move in right now. We're going to sort out the rest of stuff afterwards, but move in now. You already paid for it, but the houses are not occupied by anybody that paid for it, which leads people like myself to believe that the people who paid for it, not in Carriacou, maybe they're in the diaspora, maybe they're in Canada, maybe they are out there in some part of the US, maybe they're in the UK. But the people in Carriacou, who especially now are in dire need of the houses, remember, those houses were built in response to Hurricane Ivan. Those were part of the negotiations that took place by the former deceased Member of Parliament for Carriacou, Honorable Elvin Nimrod, Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Mitchell, when they negotiated with the Chinese, and the Chinese said they're going to give houses because you had a significant portion of the houses here in Grenada destroyed. But now you have houses sitting there. People need place to stay, and you have the houses up there in Carriacou. You take police and you put out people and all kind of thing, and then come in and lie and tell us that people. Let me hear.
Okay, I think the question was for Carriacou and PG Martinique in the wake of burial.
We have utilized some of the houses there for persons who have been displaced.
That is a lie. That is a lie. If you go and you put them in today, that is a different. But when you said that, that was a lie. And it continues to be a lie. Anybody in Carriacou or
in
Petit
the wake
Martinique?
of burial?
We have utilized some of the houses there for persons who have been displaced.
Okay, so the houses are being utilized for some
Yeah.
people who have been displaced. All right, so that question has been asked.
That question has not been answered. That question has been lied. They lie. Let me repeat it again. They lie. Ask the people of Carriacou and Petit Martinique if they have access to those houses. Ask the people who are still sleeping 10 deep if they have the houses, if they have access to those houses. And what about the people who apparently, you all put them out because you said that, oh, okay, these people paid for the houses. So you put out some people so that they can't use the houses because say people pay for it already. Yeah?
Displaced. Okay.
So let's just get it back because what is being
They
said
get
there.
cash so that they can occupy the houses.
Okay, I think the question was for Carriacou and Petit Martinique in the wake of burial.
We have utilized some of the houses there for persons who have been displaced.
Let's go to the phone line. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good night, Sheldon.
Hi, good night. How are you?
I'm good.
All
Question I want to ask. After these people doing so much a wrong thing to the Grenadian public, when election come around, what will they tell the people on the campaign trail?
They will tell them they will tell them to write a letter to me. That's what they will tell them. They're going to tell them they write a letter to me. And you see, the thing is that these folks are confusing us so much because, okay, let me play the first one here. As far as I understand it, if you have things that you want to send from, let's say, you're in New York right now, and you know that your family needs a generator. You may have some water filtration system you want to send to them. You may have other things, furnishings, all sorts of things you put together, and you want to send to your family. As it is right now, if it comes into Grenada, you will be charged custom duties and so on and taxes on it. Let me repeat, if it comes into the island right now, unless you send it to NADMA, who will then decide if your family could receive any sort of concession on it, because there is a concession in place regarding disaster, food stuff, all different things that are coming in, up until I believe the 31st of July. But if you send your stuff down, they are going to charge you for it, and don't take my word for it. Let me play Mr. Belfon, because Mr. Belfon was very clear in his pronouncements in relation to this particular issue. And I think many of us may have missed some of these. So I want to play them for you so you hear for yourself, because a lot of folks are confused right now. They're not saying, okay, let us put something special in place. No, we're going to charge you. They're also telling a boat. So let's say a boat leaves St. Lucia, or it leaves Barbados, and it's filled with goods to deliver to Carriacou. They are saying to that boat, pass Petit Martinique, pass Carriacou, come down to St. George, check in at St. George, and then go back up to Carriacou and Petit Martinique. Come on, which part of that making sense to anybody? Which part of that making sense to anybody? That is what they've been saying. In fact, don't let me say it. I'll hear it.
Viewers, local, regional, and international. We are dealing with a concerning situation in treating with the importation and processing of relief items into Grenada. The Customs Division would like to advise as follows. Firstly, all vessels and aircrafts bringing relief material into Grenada must first contact the NADMA and get the necessary authorization for the importation of such materials. We advise that ample information be provided pertaining to the items being imported, the time of arrival for the various conveyances, whether vessels or aircraft. We also advise that vessels bringing relief material into Grenada, as best as possible, should report to the St. George's port first.
So if the vessel is coming from Jamaica, if it's coming from the Northern Caribbean, They're supposed to pass the 2 islands that are in need, come down to the St. George port, when you could just facilitate them coming into the port in Harvey Vale, and you have your officers there or you have your folks there to do what has to be done. But why should they have to pass? I mean, what sense does that really make? I can understand that they say what they're coming with, and not necessarily to NADMA, but to customs, because, again, we don't want to find no gun coming in between no flour and no rice and thing. We don't want to find bag of bullet in no barrel. So things must be properly checked. Yeah, things must be properly checked. But I think that to an extent, they're trying to make things more difficult than they ought to be. We have a caller online. Hello, good night.
Hi, good night. I'm calling from Long Island.
Hi, Long Island. Good night.
Hi, good night. I just want to ask one question. I have a family member that's living in Canada, and her brother died in Carriacou, and I think they're trying to find out what happened to his body. But the rumor is they want to know how they bury the person, or if they will inform the family member concerning the person burial. So do you have an idea about concerning the death of that person, or where they will bury them, or they bury them up in Carriacou?
I know I know of at least one burial that has taken place. I do not know the individual. I do not know the details surrounding. What I can do for you is I would ask you on the WhatsApp number that you see for the program that you WhatsApp me the information, and on my own I can try to find that information for you. I have contacts that I could try and find out for you.
Yeah, because the family is saying that they bury the person, and I said they can't bury the person without informing the family.
Well, I am not sure, because remember, Carriacou has been designated as a disaster area. It's been designated. It's under a state of emergency. So there are certain actions during a state of emergency that can be taken that generally you may not be able to do under normal circumstances. I am not saying that has happened. I'm not saying that it is right. What I am promising, though, is that if you do WhatsApp me the information, I will respond to you and I will find out on your behalf what has taken place, so that we can end the speculation, and I will find out on your behalf. Yeah.
Okay then. And I would like to say good night to St. Andrews Northeast, please.
Yes,
Mosquito Lewis.
Loving people. All right, my dear.
Okay, thank you very much.
You have a good one. Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Yeah. Yes, I do have contacts. I can try and find out that information for that individual. Folks, yes, you can call her 440-7377 and 347-329-3101. So we were just going over there because that part about I could understand the necessity to know what is coming in. Again, you don't want boats come out from different places and so end up dropping things, and when we think there is goodwill, there's ill intent in between the goodwill. Yeah? So we want to make sure you know what is coming into the country. I can understand that. And anybody that understands security or any aspect of it will understand the importance of that. So we understand that. By the same token, we're saying, why make it more difficult, especially for vessels coming from the Northern Caribbean, north of Grenada, make it more difficult for them in their quest to try and help the people of Grenada. We have a caller online. Hello, good night.
Hello, good night.
Hi, good night, caller. You go right ahead. You're live.
Yeah, Sheldon, good night. Good night to the nation and to the Talking Points family. Sheldon, if the houses that was given by the Chinese to Grenada, the low-income houses, whether it's Carriacou, whether it's Sotes, whether it's wherever, especially in a time when 95% of the houses in Carriacou is destroyed, why are there houses that have still been locked down? Why? You know, the question is, it was given not to be sold. So it's a clear indication that the houses are sold to persons that have money or don't even need the houses. This is treason. This is murder. You cannot tell me that the houses are locked in a disaster when people need shelter, need the place to stay. I mean, how could Grenada get so nice? I can't understand why we so nice. Since when?
But it says a lot about the individuals that would do that. That you would know that a hurricane, it is the strongest hurricane ever recorded passing through your country at that point in time. People are going for safety, and you send police and put them out.
Sheldon, this is a disaster. The biggest and the first, it is recorded the first in this that happened in a hurricane season. It's never happened before. 95% of houses is ravished in Carriacou. People could have come down from Carriacou and even live in the same tiny houses in Grenada. All the houses are just locked, still, and Grenadians are tight-lipped. I am very, very disappointed in Grenadians. I don't understand that. How could we love a government that doing these things? What it is, how difficult it is to open the houses. We're talking about people sheltering and have peace of mind, and have people go in there and counsel these folks in a peace and tranquil way. And you're still telling me the houses are locked. No, this is a clear indication. It is a very clear indication in the days and weeks and years to come, months and years to come, we'll know who buy these houses. It is treason to sell these houses when it was given freely to Grenada. I am very disappointed. Very, very disappointed.
All right, caller. Thank you so very much. All right. Yes, indeed, folks. And we have a call online. Hello, good night. Hello. All right. I was just a little short on the button there. Yeah, 440-7377 and 347-329-3101. So there are certain things I can understand.
Before proceeding to Carriacou and PT Martinique, we want to also inform that relief in relation to exemptions afforded to relief material will only be granted to imports addressed to NADMA. Let me repeat. Relief and exemptions would only be afforded to items addressed to NADMA. For persons who have already shipped items and they are already on the way addressed to various parties, we advise that they contact NADMA and inform them of these packages so that the necessary instructions can be provided to the Customs Division so that these items can be handed over to NADMA, and we can ably identify them at the port and hand them over to NADMA. All other information required, we kindly ask that you contact the Customs Division. If you have any concerns or questions, or contact numbers of 440-2239, 2240, and one of our officers will ably assist you with the necessary information you may require, or direct you to persons that can ably assist you in treating with whatever endeavors or concerns that you may have. Thank you.
So folks, again, I can understand the necessity to ensure that whatever is coming in, that you have the positive coming in and not the negative. I can understand that. But again, if you listen to Honorable Emmilin Pierre a little earlier, and she was speaking about the exemptions and the concessions, this government is moving very slowly when it comes to offering concessions and so on. In St. Vincent, they already have the free barrels, I think, until the end of the year. I've always been an opponent of free barrels, lap and cut. But in a situation like this, it is important because you're sending down barrels to people who are not working. Their place of work disappear. It gone. Idode. So they have nowhere to work. They have no means of income. The farmers have lost their crops. So suppose somebody's trying to help them out by sending some seedlings and sending some farming implements and so on. Or even for those who use fertilizer, sending fertilizer and other things that they need. You're telling me that you're going to charge them on that. And I'm not blaming Mr. Belfon. And please, folks, don't go blaming Mr. Belfon. He's a functionary of the government. He's doing his work. He's doing his job as the government sees fit. The government has to set in place the policy that Mr. Belfon has to execute. So he is simply at this point in time executing the policy that the government put in place. So I ain't blaming him. I'm blaming the administration, who is tone deaf, and they lack emotional intelligence. They lack economic intelligence as well, but they lack emotional intelligence. So at a point in time like this, you're telling me the families, the Carriacou and Petit Martinique diaspora, who is out there, who are trying to help their people here, they have to send everything to NADMA? All you know Carriacou and Petit Martinique people, nah? I really feel all you know Carriacou and Petit Martinique people, eh? All you think when we say Kakabawi for Kakabawi, Kong for Kong is just talk. All right. All you go find out. Don't worry, the time will come when you all will find out. But not only that, the showboating that they are getting on with. Because when it comes, for instance, and I'm sorry that I have to go there, but in fact, I'll come to that one just now. Let me complete with this first. Let's go back to what they said in relation to items coming to going to Carriacou, because they're kind of confusing, eh? So we heard Mr. Belfon. Let's hear another individual here speaking on behalf of government in relation to this year.
Here at the National Emergency Operations Center, our relief efforts continue. Now we want to say that all relief efforts, all relief items should be delivered to the National Disaster Management Agency headquarters at Monjulu, except you are otherwise instructed. Let me repeat that. All relief items, and that's locally, here on mainland Grenada, should be delivered to the National Disaster Management Agency headquarters at Monjulu, except you are otherwise instructed. We have had some...
So is he saying, and that's where we're getting confused here. For instance, the New National Party has an initiative where we are trying to assist. So folks are asked to call 440-1875, 440-1876 if you have items that you would like to donate through the party for the people of Carriacou and Petit Martinique. Are they saying that the party isn't allowed to do that? Are they saying that all the other individual non-NADMA organizations that are doing their little drive, trying to collect items and so on, be it sanitary napkins and adult diapers and toiletries and so on for the people of Carriacou and Petit Martinique, because as much as you send now, people are going to utilize, so you have to replace those, because remember, you're dealing with people whose place of employment is gone. Where they're going to work? You think people up there going to work and thing on a daily basis right now? Where they're going on work when the place don't even exist again? Yeah? So you're going through that situation right now. You have people that are going through that situation now. Folks are trying to help. So the New National Party has their initiative where they're collecting. You're saying everything, nothing supposed to come to NNP, nothing supposed to go to anybody else, all supposed to go to NADMA. Well, who is you to tell us that? Where you come out to tell other organizations, well, no, nobody else can collect nothing, only NADMA. You're fast, you're out of place, and you're disrespectful. Who is he to tell us that? Where you come out? Anyway, let me hear the rest of what he's saying there.
People dropping off items in one area, and so we ask that you kindly desist from that and kindly...
I want to say some words, but I can't say it on the program. I have too much church people listening. I can't. I want to say something about this statement, but oh gosh, it had too much church people listening. Oh gosh, and I respect all it too much. I can't use that kind of language here. If I was in our next place, I would have said it, but you know.
To the National Disaster Management Agency headquarters at Monjulu, except you are otherwise instructed. Let me repeat that. All relief items, and that's locally here.
And remember, again, he said, and let me repeat that, you want to make sure that you know, only NADMA, so nobody else can help the people of Carriacou and Petit Martinique. That way you're saying? Everybody must bring everything to NADMA? NADMA don't even have the capacity to deal with it if everybody was bringing everything. If it wasn't for Samaritan Purse, let me repeat it again. If it was not for Samaritan Purse, Right now, a lot of people in Carriacou would have been in a much worse situation. And thanks to Devon Rocher, don't give me this stupidness about no Terry Forrester and no Tally Francis. All you lie. I have known Devon Rocher, Bishop Devon Rocher. He's no bishop. Bishop, I'll come to the phone lines in a while, all you. I have known Bishop Devon Rocher to be involved for over 10 years, over a decade. This man involved with Samaritan Purse. Devon Rocher is the regional coordinator for the Caribbean and the Pacific. Yet still, you have lying Terry Forrester and the rest of them running in the front and doing like if they had all this to do with bringing Samaritan Purse to Grenada. All you know how Samaritan Purse reached here? It didn't have anything to do with the government. The government was informed that Samaritan Purse would like to come into Grenada. They didn't go and call, no Tally Francis and them didn't go and contact Samaritan Purse and ask them to come. Samaritan Purse came to Grenada and they asked, you're coming to our country, you must work with the government officials. And as such, they contacted the government officials to get the permission for the plane to come in and land and for them to go up to Carriacou and so on. That's what was facilitated by the government. Stop lying to the people, giving them the impression. Let me move you there. Yeah, we're done with you now. Yeah. Stop lying to the people, giving them the impression that all of that come and bring Samaritan Purse here. Why? Because Devon Rocher at one point in time was a candidate for the new National Party. So you all feel, okay, he's INNP. We don't want him to get no praise for nothing. All you think he looking for praise? The man does pray every day. In and out, whole time, every day. He and Pastor Happy Akasi. These people, together with the Samaritan Purse team, have been doing an excellent job. And they need to be praised for what they have been doing. They ain't looking for it, but they need to be praised. And don't think that's the first time that people like Devon Rocher involved in this thing. When things happen in the Pacific, he does be over there. Other Caribbean territories, he does be there. I know that for a fact. Over 10 years he's been involved. I see GIS putting out thing. They're ignoring the man totally, like if he don't exist. All kind of, I mean, what's the matter with these people?
Dr. Sean Charles commended the swift response to Grenada by Samaritan's Purse.
My first expression is one of gratitude. We have an entire team of individuals who are here to assist with the response operations in Carriacou. And what is very good about this group is that they're portable. They are self-sufficient, self-sustaining. All right. Where we had challenges in finding accommodation to facilitate our healthcare staff visiting Carriacou, this group comes already prepared with all of the necessary equipment to set themselves up and remain on site and provide services, which is quite beneficial to us, and we are very thankful.
Just a reminder, folks. Grenada has 2 field hospitals. We didn't have to wait on Samaritan Purse to bring one here. Grenada, your country, has 2 fully functional, state-of-the-art field hospitals that were donated by the United States government in March of the year 2022. After they were donated, a team of individuals in Carriacou were taught and trained how to set up said field hospital. So we didn't have to sit here and wait, because you see, there's a level of incompetence with the individuals in charge of state affairs right now. So they were talking about, oh, if you set up a field hospital, you're going to have to do this and that. No. Now they set up the field hospital. It is providing excellent care to the people of Carriacou and Petit Martinique. They were talking about if hurricane come in, you're going to have to move the field hospital and all kind of thing. No. The hurricane coming, you think a hurricane that just come, you hear a hurricane coming tonight and it's here in the morning? No. You hear a hurricane coming, you've been monitoring a hurricane for over a week. From the time it come off Africa, you see tropical depression, then you hear it form into a hurricane. And so you have sufficient time to be able to remove and secure and those kind of things a field hospital. But it was, oh, there's the rainy season and let me hear the rest.
that they are able to hear, and they were able to respond very quickly.
Terence Forrester, Ambassador for Diaspora Affairs, spoke about the coordination of efforts by the ambassador in Washington to get this relief efforts off the ground.
On behalf of the Ministry...
But Mr. Forrester, I hope you're going to tell us coordination with who? Because like, are you afraid to say the name Devon Rocher? Like, are you afraid to say it? Are you trying to take praise for things that all you have nothing to do with? Don't sit down in Moses' seat. Parent always used to say, "Don't, Moses' seat will burn you up. Don't sit down in Moses' seat."
Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Trade and Export Development, and indeed on behalf of our distinguished minister, the Honorable Joseph Andel, Permanent Secretary Roxy Hutchinson, we want to extend real special thanks to our ambassador based in Washington, His Excellency Charlie Francis, who really worked hard towards getting the Samaritan Purse entity to Grenada. I think it...
You see, that's a play on language. Charlie Francis was informed that Samaritan Purse wanted to come to Grenada. In fact, Samaritan Purse, even before the hurricane hit Grenada, was already preparing themselves to come here. Yeah, they were already preparing themselves to come here before the hurricane hit. In fact, Grenada dragged their foot on that field hospital so long that Grenada nearly lost that field hospital to the other Grenadine islands. Let me repeat, because now they're going to know and know exactly what I'm saying. They dragged their feet so long that the field hospital that is now set up in Lauriston and Carriacou, that is offering immediate emergency care to the people of Carriacou and Petit Martinique, that field hospital nearly didn't end up in Grenada because they was dragging their feet so long on it with the pile of bureaucracy and playing politics that it nearly ended up either in Can Juan or Bakwe or one of the other islands that have been destroyed. Meanwhile, we have 2 field hospitals packed up inside NADMA still, state of the art. If all they do are medication, we know all of us had a problem because we can't find the Minister of Health in all of this. Folks, have you seen the Minister of Health? Have you heard from the Minister of Health in all of this? Gas sure running rampant all over the country. Health challenges, hospital destroyed. Where are you, Minister of Health? Yeah? Where are you? We ain't seeing the Minister of Health. We ain't hearing the Minister of Health. Anyway, let's play the rest here. Let me hear. Lie.
Important to recognize that this is just 4 days after the unfortunate incident of Hurricane Beryl, that a mobile hospital has been negotiated and is now in Grenada for Carriacou. So we want to really give our thanks and appreciation to Ambassador Charlie Francis for mobilizing all of this with the Samaritan Purse.
This brings us...
Yeah, that brings us to the end of that, right? Nice, yeah. But no, you all can't be doing that kind of thing. Yeah, because you all playing politics. You all playing politics with this thing. Don't play politics. They're only playing politics with people's lives. And then people continue getting mixed messages, so they don't know exactly. Look, people don't even know right now if they can go to Carriacou, if they can't go to Carriacou, as the process to go to Carriacou and so on. Because you had the minister telling them this.
The situation with regards to access to Carriacou and Petit Martinique remains extremely challenging at this time. As such, we do not want to put additional pressure on the system in Carriacou and Petit Martinique, and we need to limit the amount of persons going up to the island on any given day. A state of emergency is still in effect for Carriacou and Petit Martinique. This means no unauthorized travel to these islands. It is not permitted. If you want to deliver supplies, this should be coordinated in Grenada with NADMA. You can contact relief@gov.gd. That's the email address. Contact relief, RELIEF, @gov.gd and request permission to travel to provide relief supplies. But you are not permitted to travel until you receive approval. If you're already on your way, you can drop your supplies with NADMA at Turtle Bay in Carriacou. but you will not be allowed to disembark.
Now, let me ask, how does this work out for people who are born and bred Carriacouians, Petit Martinicans, who have been based here in Grenada, and they would like to go back and drop stuff to their friends and family in Carriacou and Petit Martinique? They may not be going up on the Osprey or the Tyrrell Bay. They may be going up on a tuna boat or so, and they're bringing building supplies, or they're bringing fruits and vegetables, they're bringing stuff for the people. Are you saying that those people, are you saying that those people are going to have to now, they can't go up to Carriacou unless they get approval? Why if NADMA don't give them the approval? There are folks down here who need to go up because they need to do an assessment of their property, or their family's property, or the situation with their family. I've known many families have already transported the younger ones down to Grenada, and some even out from Grenada to the US and UK and so on already. Some of the elderly as well have already been evacuated from the island. So why are you saying to people, your messages are confusing? People, the messages are confusing. People are confused as to what to do. They don't know. You're meeting people, they're asking you, well, they want to go up on this day, they want to go up on that day. What should they do? The messages are confusing. And they are confusing until the point that the MP himself has to come out to try and offer some clarity in relation to the whole thing.
All right, so I just want to dispel a rumor that's been circulated. If you have family members in Carriacou and you wish to send stuff up, you can do so with whatever boats. Whether you have a fishing trawler, whether it's the Osprey, the Tyrrell Bay Express, no one would restrict you. You put it on your family's name, your family come and collect it whenever it comes to Carriacou. NADMA is not taking anybody's private stuff. I want to just dispel that immediately.
Again, if the messaging was clear, if the messaging from NADMA was concise, if the messaging to the Grenadian people was devoid of all the personal and I in charge kind of thing, and the messaging was clear, people would have understood that from the get-go. If that is indeed the case, because it's still kind of not too sure what's going on there. But anyway, let's hear the rest of what the MP has to say.
Secondly, yes, we're encouraging people not to come to Carriacou unless you're coming to assist, or unless you're coming to do some assessment or something. There are people that are just coming to Carriacou to just do sightseeing, and you're adding additional pressure, unnecessary pressure on the limited resources that we have here. So if you're coming to assist, if you're coming to give relief and so on, if you're coming to volunteer, then yes, please come.
I want you to dispel also that there are people, NDCites in NADMA, that are giving this stuff to NDCites, and NNP people are not getting anything.
That is absolute rubbish. This is not the time for this. This is not the time for the politics. Let's leave the politics aside. This has nothing to do with any P or any political party or any. This has to do with getting the relief and trying to get it out to people as fast as we can. We understand the reality. Before, we had no transportation because most of the transport was down because they had no fuel. We had no access to certain places, so obviously we couldn't get to some places, we couldn't get to some people. Now all of that is sorted. We have food on the island, we have gas on the island, more transportation will be coming up, so certainly we'll be able to reach some of the areas that we were not able to reach. This is day 5 after the storm, this devastating hurricane.
Right, so now you have the MP now having to try and clarify what has been clouded by some of the others. Make your messaging clear. Make your messaging clear and concise to the people. So folks, according to what the MP is saying, if you've got to send stuff to your friends and your family, etc. in Carriacou, you can do so. You put it in a box, you put the name on it, and you send it up. The impression we were getting by what was said before was that you can't do that. That's the impression we was getting before. Make your messaging clear. You're causing confusion in the minds of people. They don't know what to do. Make your messaging clear. Yeah? Make your messaging clear. That's as simple as we can say it. Yeah? And stop the tomfoolery. People need help in Carriacou. People need help in Petit Martinique. People need help in St. Patrick. They need help. Not people running and every 2 minutes you're snapping a building there, snapping a building there. Also, I go up to Carriacou on Friday. If I tell you, one picture I taken was with somebody's mom to let them know that their mom is okay. That's the one picture I take. I ain't take a picture and nothing else. And I'm a photographer. Kind of. I ain't even walk with a camera. Yeah, because that's not what was important. Yeah? I don't think they really understand Carriacou and Petit. Maybe they need to speak to the MP. He would understand a lot better than some of them. But they don't understand Carriacou and Petit Martinique people. Yeah, folks? So, folks, we're nearly at the end. I'm sorry for the phone lines, but I just had to get some of these things out of the way. Right, folks? Tomorrow night, we're going to be doing a program where we're going to be speaking about the psychosocial effect of the hurricane on people, the people of Carriacou, Petit Martinique, St. Patrick, etc. Yeah? That is, we're going to have Dr. Panch, who will be on with us, because there was something that I saw, and I know many other people are seeing it, when it comes to the trauma that is caused emotionally and otherwise to people who have been through this sort of situation. And it sort of develops over a period of time, and it can express itself in different ways. So we're going to be speaking with Dr. Pancho tomorrow night, and we're going to be having a discussion on that. We will have the phone lines open in the first part before we bring on Dr. Pancho, and we have that discussion. So those of you that were trying to reach out tonight, you will get the opportunity tomorrow night to be able to call into the program. Folks, that's all the time. I'm very, very sorry for those who are trying to call. That's all the time we have tonight for Talking Points. It's been wonderful being here with you, and in everything you say and do it safe and secure. Want to be speaking to and with you, and definitely not about you. Love each and every one of you. Continue to help, continue to support, continue to help in whichever way you can. Again, we're thankful to all of you who have volunteered in whatever capacity, to the police officers. Some of them have not been home since Beryl. Yeah, and they're out there doing what they need to do and what they can do. The medical professionals, some who have left the comfort of their homes here in Grenada and have journeyed to Carriacou and are not in the best conditions, but they are trying their very best to assist. And all the others who have tried their very best to help bring the people of Carriacou and Petit Martinique together and to help the rebuilding process to start. And in the interim, also maintain the peace and stability of Carriacou, Petit Martinique, and Grenada. Folks, as I said, that's all the time we have for Talking Points tonight. And whatever you say and do, do it safe and secure. Want to be speaking to and with you, and definitely not about you.
The gem of the Caribbean, struck by Hurricane Ivan. The spices blew in the wind and the people all started to scream. The force of the hurricane has wrought havoc and caused great pain. But we are proud to say that we are on the rise again. Because our people are strong, it didn't take us too long to start to rebuild our land. The spice leaves, the spice leaves, the spice leaves, the spice. Yes, we're building better than before, and to your tourists we offering more. Oh yes, the spice leaves, the spice leaves, the spice leaves. The speed of the recovery have boosted the industry. Tourists who visit the land are amazed at the things they see.